Dad, is that an electric guitar?
This meeting is being recorded.
Hey Keith, we're back.
Keith.
It's
Hi,
the news
Keith.
of the day, cross-Atlantic news of the day. What was that thing Pop used to watch with Alistair? Letter from America. It's
Letter from America. Alistair
Letter
Cook.
from London, America, and down there with Chris.
Letter from America.
Letter from Japan. How are you anyway, Chris? How's things?
I've been good up until about a quarter of an hour ago because on Friday they moved Terry from one hospital, Yeovil Hospital, to South Petherton Hospital, and I thought it was for respite care, which sounded good, but she's just rung me to say that she's totally isolated in one room and the staff aren't hardly coming in at all. And there was an outbreak of a special outbreak of flu in Yeovil in her ward. And so that's why she got moved out. And it's not good because she's still got the pain with the new stent. She's got diarrhea. She's got urinary problems, plus this flu as well. So she's in great pain.
Bless
her.
I was confident that she was getting marginally better, but this has all happened in the last few minutes.
Right. Sorry to hear that.
Is she on morphine and stuff to help with the pain, or what kind of pain relief?
Well, she's been on morphine for months. She has that. She takes morphine all the time, but it's she's had that while she was at home here. So we've had that for about 6 months now.
So are they keeping her dosed up, as in like comfortable at least there? Or
Yes.
you know,
Oh yes, I'm sure they are. Yes, I'm sure they are trying.
And how was she able to call you on? Has she got a mobile, or she?
Yes, she's got my mobile.
Oh, Chris.
07799.
Oh.
So
is she in her own room, or?
Yeah, she's in her own room. She's like she's very pleased. This is why I was pleased. She's in her own room, which is like a first class hotel with a private ensuite. But and she's got her own television, but she's too weak to use it.
Oh
dear.
And they're not coming in much to.
I was hoping to see her for the first time since she'd been in hospital tomorrow, and I arranged for someone to take us, but I've had to cancel that, unfortunately.
Oh no.
Because why?
Well, because she's so ill and they keep her isolated. They're not letting anyone in the room other than.
But that's the flu. That's why she's isolated, right? Or do I misunderstand that?
They don't want any outsiders to come in and catch the flu because it's a bad virus of flu.
Right.
So Chris, they won't allow you to go in a mask.
Sorry?
So they won't allow you to go in wearing a mask or anything?
Well, they apparently not, no. I mean, we both had the flu jab, but this is another variant on the flu that we've had. So ain't good.
So will they update you, or she'll keep asking them presumably when she can have a visitor and you can go in, like they'll take it on a day-by-day basis, or?
Sure. Oh yes. Oh, they would.
Good. Oh, and what have they said about her coming out or anything?
Well, I think that when she was moved, I was hoping she might be home in a few days, but I've got serious grave doubts about that happening, certainly towards the end of this week. I mean, they review it daily, I suspect. But I was really not back on competence because, you know, when she's been as ill as she has been and what the doctors are saying, it's now a very big setback.
Yeah, it does
It
have
did sound a lot
personal.
more positive on Friday.
Yeah, well, I was really
Yeah.
confident. Yeah, I was really good on Friday.
Well, I guess they're doing. Yeah, go on.
And how are you, Chris? Do you have people to help you?
Yeah, the girls come back from Romania. Sorry, Bulgaria.
Already? You got your new one, the old one back?
The original one, yes.
Oh.
So she's living.
Bulgaria.
I think I'm going to miss that Russian one not joining our conversation every 5
Yeah.
minutes.
She was good. And,
Chris, so what happened with her?
You can see this one if you want to.
No, that's fine. I'd sooner talk to you. I felt like you were getting edged out in the last conversation.
Oh yes, she was the Russian dominate. She's like Putin. She takes over a bit.
Chris, on a serious note, what happened?
Yeah, it
with
was
the
like
other-
you were Ukraine and she was Putin.
That's right.
So, Chris, on a serious note, what happened then with the old carer?
Well, what happened was
Yeah.
I liked her a hell of a lot. She as Guy Hughes spotted, I was quite friendly with her.
Yeah.
And she did all was expected of her and more.
Yeah.
But she went out on this Friday afternoon a fortnight ago,
Yeah.
and which she was they're allowed to go out in the afternoons, and she had previously been going to the only place that's open in Misterton, and I didn't know it was. The pub had closed, but they've got a shop where they sell apple cake and cider. Well, I didn't know that she was going there, and so she must have gone there, and she just bought a couple of bottles of cider. And unfortunately, it would appear that she was an alcoholic, and she only needs just a bit to top her up, and then she goes haywire. And so she came back. She came back to the house, and Terry was on the computer here.
Yeah.
And heard her come in. I didn't even hear her come in, and she went to her room, and she should have brought me down some tea for 6 o'clock, and it had gone 6. And then so Terry walked to her room, and she was all over the bloody place. But it then appeared, subsequently we're finding out, it appears that Russians do drink an awful lot of vodka.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm surprised that you would get drunk on cider.
The whole time then,
What she said in the end, she wouldn't admit that she'd had the drink, but before she went off my premises, I managed to persuade her to say that she had been drinking, because she wouldn't admit that she was. And all she could say was fucking Somerset cider.
Oh God.
That was the last word thing she ever said to me.
Is that a Russian term?
Yeah.
So, Chris, did you or Terry call the care company then, or did she realise?
Well, we called the care company, and the girl came over, but she was in a very difficult spot, because she could tell then that she was not fit for purposes, and she suspended her that Terry said there's no way she can stay on the way she is. So she went back, and they put her in for the hotel for the night, And I was very worried because I thought they'd given her instant dismissal, which she was clever enough, if necessary, to fight that. Because that, you know, with my experience, I've never had to given anybody instant dismissal at work. So normally they're entitled to some first or second stage warnings.
Yeah.
Anyway, the next morning they went to pick her up from the George Hotel
Oh yeah.
and took her back to the office, and that she was very terribly apologetic, and she formally handed in her notice, and she gave her notice in, which was good.
Wow.
So that I mean, it's unlikely that they would want to take her on again, but
Wow. So did
but-
she get back into contact with you to say she's sorry, or did you hear from her again?
no, I've not heard from her. I've got her mobile, but I think it's probably not right that I speak to her because of, you know, that they're not she isn't contacting Libertas again at the moment. I mean,
Gosh.
So it's the thinking that she was drinking in her room, Chris, and then throughout the time, or
I think she was drinking. Well, you'd be interested to know this. I think what she did was it was where she was getting the booze was very near the cemetery where Julian is, and she got obsessed with the history of Julian, and I think she was probably drinking up there. It was only it was the second time it had happened, but we didn't really recognize it. It had happened a couple of weeks before, but we didn't pick it up then, and she sobered up. But I think
what was she just kind of falling around, or like being sick, or how did you know? No.
She wasn't. I mean, I think alcoholism is strange, because we've had some friends of our age, and like they were both alcoholics, and you'd go out with them for the evening and pick them up in the car.
Yeah.
And you go to the pub and have a drink, and you'd start drinking, and then after 2 or 3 drinks, you're a bit merry, or maybe more. But with them, they'd only have to have 1 drink, and they were over the top. And I think that's the only experience I've had with alcoholism, really.
Because actually, sorry, go on.
No, that was it, really. I mean, I'm happy to. You ask questions about it.
So she wasn't really pleased to see us. She was just a bit under the influence then when we talked to her last time.
Yeah.
Oh, no. What day of the week did we do?
Well, it was a Friday, I think.
It was
and
a
actually,
Friday.
do you know? I don't know if you guys, Hugh and Dad, you've both frozen on the screen for me. My internet is terrible here, but I did think she was really animated when she was on the screen.
Did you?
And she kept asking, do you remember she asked my full name, and then she burst out laughing when I told it to her?
Yeah.
And she kept kind of like, not inappropriately laughing, but she'd kind of like burst out laughing kind of at not that funny. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So.
But that could just be nerves, you know, if she's, I don't know.
But
anyway.
It could be.
But I mean, when you go into it, and what she told me over the 5 weeks she was here was a history of not sticking at anything, and Terry picked up and described her as a nomad.
Oh yeah.
Already, but like she got married, and she got married to an English or a Scottish chap who was doing a course at St. Petersburg University. And she got married to him, and they had 2 children. The oldest is a boy of 21 and a girl of 16.
Hold on, she's got a child who's 21 and 16.
21-year-old boy, son, and a girl of 16.
But she looks so young.
Well,
wow.
and-
I thought
but that marriage broke up, which, as we all know, that can easily happen quickly. But
Yeah.
then she was but during her time still in Russia, she went to 3 different universities, but she never ever completed the course. So that's why she was so bright. She could speak English well, and she was, but she never actually got a qualification in paper.
Right.
And then, so she came back to England with her first husband, and he went into teaching, which he was going to do, but now by then, presumably he could get a slightly better job because he could speak Russian well. And then they got divorced, and then very soon he was knocking off. That's a Somerset expression. He met another teacher, and he had a baby with her.
Wow.
That was the first husband.
Oh,
So
that's tough.
then I don't know how many years it was between. She was sort of generally moving job to job, and then she met up with this guy who was a solicitor, and that's, I believe, who she's gone back to now. But she said that relationship was over to all intents and purposes, but that was her address, so that's where she's gone back to, we assume.
In Russia or in somewhere?
In where she come from, Stockton-on-Tees, which I wouldn't expect you to know, but is very near where you went to, Alexandra. It's North Yorkshire, so it's very near Scunthorpe.
Okay. Yeah.
But
That's tough.
so I mean, you can imagine how taken I was with her, because she had so many interests and so many stories to tell.
Yeah.
Anyway, the new lady, or the first lady, left Bulgaria on Friday evening, and the plane was 3 hours late because of delays where it was coming from in England, because that was a return journey. And then she landed at Luton Airport late Friday night, but three hours later than she'd anticipated. Stayed the night. It was a hotel that was in Luton Airport itself, like a Premier Inn type place. And then she got the coach to Heathrow, because there was a regular coach to Heathrow, as there is from Stansted to Heathrow. Yeah. And then, amazing enough, they'd arranged for her to come down by another coach to Taunton. So, and then they picked her up from Taunton. But all that part went quite well. So she arrived as scheduled about 4 or 5 o'clock yesterday. Yeah, she seems to be back longer than that, but she settled in straight away, and she got on with all the jobs, and she's been doing this. Tomorrow's our bin day, so she's just been outside, and you have to put things in different compartments now. They're very hot on it in Somerset, that you put it in the right box and stuff.
So Chris, did you have a couple of days where you had no one coming in, or did you have like day carers coming in? Or...
No, I've had daycare in all the time. So, generally, that system has been, they've come in at 9 o'clock. The girls who came in, or ladies, came in at 9. Then they woke me up the next morning and got breakfast, got me dressed and got breakfast. Then they went on, and then another person would come in from 12:30 to 2, so it was another hour and a half to get my lunch. So I was well covered. So that it seemed it was for me. It was a very long afternoon from 1:30 till 10 to 9 o'clock. But I still got used to it.
Yeah.
Whereas with Sweating Island now, I mean, obviously, although she has the afternoon off, she's around all the time.
Yeah. I guess it's nice to have a familiar face as well if you can't, you know her.
Well, yes, I mean, she's straight away, she's picked the agency have taken over ordering the food for me through on my computer. So we've got a list and able to tick off what we want. We've got a sort of a regular things we've had over the last couple of months, but so you've got to log on to Waitrose and put in Terry's got an account with them now, so she'll be able to follow that all right.
Oh, that's good.
Because the
Sounds
problem
well organised.
in hindsight, the only major mistake I made was selling the car, because both of them, this one and the Russian girl, didn't have an English driving license, but they were allowed to drive on an their own country's international driving license. Well, the girl today has got a South African driving license, and if we had one, it would have been so much easier for the food, because they could have driven me down there.
Yeah, and driven Terry to, you to get Terry.
Excuse me, 1 minute.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Anyway, that's history. And of course, I sold it at what I thought was a sensible price, but to buy another one would be a lot of money, because second-hand cars have gone up in value quite a lot.
Yeah. Although they're coming down over here.
Well, they might.
I've heard the price are coming down, but it's very difficult to buy a car if you don't have a car. That's the other thing, because you can't get out. Can't get to see it, and
that's right. I mean, with the car we had, that was the first car I've ever managed to buy from new. It was £10,000, but with the old car, I only had to find £4,000, and
sorry,
we sold it for £3,000. So, in actual fact, when they offered me £3,000, it sounded a bloody good bargain, but I hadn't had a chance to look in to see the market.
Was it a Suzuki? I can't remember.
You can't very well remember it.
Was it a silver Suzuki? No.
Was it blue?
No, it was black, but it was a Suzuki.
Yes.
It was a crossover. It's not the only black Suzuki in the country.
Well, Dad used to have
That's have to bear with me a minute. I've got to spend a penny. I'll be with you in a minute.
All right.
My bladder has always been bad since Julian died, but it's particularly bad now. And if I have to go so regularly, I'll be back in a minute.
Yeah. All right. We'll be here.
It's an old age thing. Mine's not as good either.
Well,
yeah, really.
How are you, Hugh?
I'm good. I'm.
Are you still on your own?
I am. I'm Mr. Mom.
Oh yeah. Gosh, no voice and no blank. Has it been like? Yeah. It's just. Well, I had Brando for the first week. It was me, Brando, Katie for the first week, and then Brando left, and just the two of us. But Margarita's here too. Oh.
So,
do you all eat together, or do you just kind of rustle up?
But so it's just a kitchen, it's downstairs kitchen.
Say that again.
I said, do you all eat together? Like, do you cook for Katie and eat together, or do they?
Yes, we do when she's not out. She goes to see her sister a lot. She goes dancing. She does dance classes. So, but 3 or 4 nights a week. I don't think she's really that keen on my cooking, but you know, you, you have to live with it.
Yeah. Do you have
The
to take her, or does she go out alone? She can walk and get the public transport?
No,
or?
I pretty much take her, you know, I don't, she can go there during the day, but after it gets dark, I say I got to pick her up or take her there and stuff. And, you know, especially in the winter, it gets dark so early. Mostly that means that I have to pick her up and take her there. But it's, you know, it's all around here. It's not really very far. It's like 10-minute drive or whatever.
Yeah.
And but no, we're good here. You know, it's been very cold. That's the main thing.
Yeah, I can't believe it. How was Don Sean, by the way?
Actually, they thought he was going to pass on at one point.
Really?
He wasn't very well, and so they took him to hospital, and he had something like a cold or a flu or something, and it looked like he turned for the worst. So all the family started getting to come down, and some of them did come down, but now it looks, last I heard yesterday, was he's gotten a bit better. But
how old is he again?
But there's still about 4 of them there anyway.
So he's 102.
Or
he's 102, 103 in August if he gets there, yeah.
Blimey.
But yeah, so you know, so that was a bit of a scare. But it, you know, yesterday Blanca went off to family in Cacalpera, which is a bit like going up to see Keith or something. It's quite a way away, so I think he must have been better. Otherwise, she wouldn't have done that. And in fact, Armando, one of the brothers, was there, and they all went up. And one of the other brothers came off his motorbike and fractured his hand, so they went up to see him. And
sounds painful. Oh yeah, Hugh, my friend is. She just messaged me actually. She's going to come to El Salvador with another girl.
Yeah.
But she wanted to know, yeah, what your family tips were, like where would you recommend to go? So if you've got a chance to email.
All right. Yeah.
Them over.
But listen, say to her, if she wants a hand, I'll fix her up with the family. I'm sure they would be. If she wants a driver, I'll fix her up with a driver.
Yeah, that would be. How much would it be, and like whereabouts are they based? And
I'll find out, but you know, you don't. The wages are not very high there, so.
Yeah. Let me.
You know, or even if she doesn't want to do that, but she just wants to, you know, she could probably stay at the house or just meet them and talk.
Yeah, make them. Yeah,
I'll send you an email and with suggestions and. Yeah,
that'd be cool. Thank you.
So, how is your living situation, Alex? I heard you had to move out again.
Oh, yeah. So we're. I'm trying to think when I last spoke to you, but yeah, we moved out 2.5 weeks ago for them to start works on the flat. So the day we moved out, we had a second viewing. Our second viewing. We never, until recently, never made it past the first viewing.
Yeah.
And literally within an hour of the viewing, we then, you know, packing everything up, putting it all in boxes, and we basically have moved out. It was meant to be for a month, but now we've heard it's going to be until the 28th of March, which is a bit annoying. And then we spent the first 2 weeks in one house in Brixton, and then we moved on Friday to another house, and then we moved back in 2.5 weeks to the house we were in before. It's really hard to find like a long lease Airbnb, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a bit frustrating because it's just we're kind of like, you know, bag ladies here with all our.
Yeah, I can imagine. So the second viewing didn't yield an offer then?
Well, actually, yesterday we got a call to say that they'd like to put in an offer, which is great. The offer's lower than obviously like it's on the market for, and quite a big lowball, but like, you know, I guess we'll go back and counter offer tomorrow. Is
that because of the because they found out the problem, or just because that's the way the market is at your end?
Yeah, this is the way the market is, like flats especially, like just.
Do they know there's a problem? Do you?
No. So this is the thing. We're kind of a bit like, as much as we're like, yay, we've got an offer, we're also like, we need to kind of plan now. We need to make sure that she doesn't come back round in the next few weeks or want to see the place. We also obviously can't go through and do the survey. The house is a building site, sorry. It's like nothing in there and the floors are up and everything. And yeah, basically we, it's a tricky one. We'll have to speak to the estate agents. I don't know if we say
tricky, but things will be better once it's done, because if that's March, then you're into spring, early summer, then everything's a lot easier or looks a lot better. And another ground floor with more lights will be better as well.
Well, now we'll probably accept the offer, so she'll move in, but like ideally we don't want her to know that the floods happen, because this is the third flood actually that's happened in like 10 years. They've all been different types of floods, one from the drains during heavy rain, one from a shower from a neighbour, and then this one obviously the Thames Road pipes. And I feel like with basements, they are cheaper because I guess it is more dark, they are a bit more dingy. So, but basically there's 3 types of surveys you can get. You guys will know more than me, obviously, but apparently just on the first cheaper survey they won't find out that there's been 3 floods. So we've got a few hurdles to get through, I think. Even if she doesn't find out that we're having everything redone, obviously if they find out in the surveys, then they might want to pull out, who knows. But really excited to get to the offer stage anyway, because it's obviously been on the market since
that's very encouraging, at least. I mean, even if she doesn't take it, maybe there's someone else.
And she's a cash buyer because her dad's buying her the property, and the parents have sold their place basically, which is great in theory. They want to move quite quickly, but obviously we can't really. We're not living there, and also because it's been so slow, we haven't really started looking. Obviously, we've looked online, but we're like, we're not going to waste our time or waste other people's time, or get our hopes up by doing view actually seeing places. But yeah, it's really annoying for working as well, because you can probably tell my internet is terrible. I'm actually hotspotting on my phone at the moment, and it's just so frustrating.
What part of London are you living in?
We're in Brixton, which is actually classified as SW, Southwest London, but it's 10 minutes from Herne Hill, which is Southeast London. So we're close to home, which is good. But we don't have parking here, so the weekend is fine. But 8:30 tomorrow, I'll have to top up the car, and then at lunch I'll move it back to the flat, because otherwise it's 60 quid a day to park.
Wow.
£30 per 4 hours. So it's just like loads of admin involved, and like the place we're now, like there's no like side lights, so I'm in the dining room, but like it's quite a dark room, and we just would much rather be home. And just it's really frustrating, like kind of living out suitcases, and we have to keep going back. And at the moment, Thames Water, so the black marks that were coming through. Pardon?
I was going to say, I just got a note to say that your broadband width is low.
Yeah, and that's because I'm literally having to use my phone to hotspot, which in a working, I'm like obviously working from home, and it's just really frustrating.
You don't have cable then? Oh no, you're not at home, of course.
No, they do have internet, and it is meant to be good internet. It's called like Shell internet, but like it's just not really great. This house actually belongs to a doctor, and I think he's a gay doctor, because I've seen a photo with another man here, and he is he's living with his partner in Elephant and Castle, and I think he only puts the house up to see if he can get like a long, instead of doing like short stays, if he gets any long stays. But this place, it's a two-bed house. And we had to put it on our credit card, then they pay us back the next day, Thames Water. And I think it was like nearly 8,000 for 2.5 weeks. Lot of money, even for a doctor. I know doctors.
8,000 for 2.5 weeks. Jesus.
Yeah.
What, that you're paying?
Well, insurance pay up straight away. We have to put it on the credit card and then they pay like straight away. But I think normally they want you to go with their recommended, these like emergency flats that they have these relationships with, and all the people who have been in, you know, floods through Thames water, they go to these like these vendors basically, and that's where we stayed before. But because they, I think they know how much they've, you know, really effed us over by the fact that this is our third move. I think they know that probably we've got a case to like, I don't know, like maybe sue them. I don't know if will actually be bothered, but they're like almost like on the defensive a bit. So they were like, look, you guys can just find somewhere, as long as it's like for like, you can find anywhere that's suitable for you. So what we found is the place we stayed in last time is actually like a 4-story townhouse. But what they do is they lock certain parts of the house off. So they put all their personal possessions in the top floor and this other bedroom. So it's sold as a 2-bed house. This is meant to be a 2-bed. This has got more bedrooms, but they're locked. But yeah, it's who knew that some Airbnbs, I guess that's why he does it. He just puts it really expensive to see. And if anyone does decide, then he just rents it very occasionally and makes like a mint off it.
Maybe if they know that there's an insurance market out there.
Yeah.
That's, you know, maybe those emergency situations, insurance will pay it. Maybe that's a thing.
Yeah. From a lot of the reviews, it seemed to be people who are renovating their homes, or I think, cases like ours. It must be such a nightmare though, because I don't know if it's part of the terms, but he's had to like clear every single drawer in the bedrooms and all the wardrobes, and it must be a bit of a, but the internet thing is really annoying. And because obviously because it's so expensive with energy and stuff, the first house we stayed in, they disabled the dryer, so we can't use the dryer, which is fine. We don't have one at home, but we were quite excited about having one, like for a couple of weeks, because of obviously the cost of dryers at the moment. And then they also wouldn't let us put the radiators on in the bathrooms. And we were like, well, the bathrooms are freezing. Like one has got like 3 external walls. And eventually when they came around, this agency to fix them, we actually realized that they put like a piece of tape over saying, do not touch. And they obviously don't want people to like turn on certain radiators, which are obviously like expensive and stuff. But yeah, so move again in 2 weeks, and then we've got 1 extra month in the place we were last time. At least we'll have a car park in the last place. We can take the car. But yeah, it should be interesting tomorrow what we'll do. We'll have to speak to this estate agent and they can help advise. But annoyingly, because the dad's been doing all the questions and stuff, I think they probably will get the better survey. I feel like if it was a more young, naive person, you might be like, oh, to save money, I'll just get the basic survey. But probably with, a parent on board, they'll probably do the more expensive survey. Who knows? They're 3 complete flukes, the floods, and but yeah, hopefully, I don't know if they would then try and renegotiate down or what, but.
So if you, hypothetically, if it goes through, Alex, where do you want to live?
Well, we'd probably live in, Earlsfield. You went to Baz's old place.
Yeah.
We'd live there, Wimbledon, or we would still keep looking Herne Hill, because we like kind of being still, London and good connections.
You're not in that suburban frame of mind then?
Well, actually, all of my friends, even ones who've had kids and moved out, they haven't actually, no one's moved out quite as far as, say, Baz. And Baz actually, none of her friends really live around there. She's like making new kind of like, friends through Flow and stuff. Not that it's hard to get to friends or anything, like 20-25 minute drive. But yeah, a lot of my friends still live in like Brixton, Streatham and stuff. So I think we're sort of like, whilst we eventually will do the move out naturally to obviously get more space cheaper, but we're sort of like, until I guess we'll never move back into London. People never move back into the city. So we're like, we might as well, stay really. But yeah, obviously the market's terrible. So yeah, the price they've offered is a lot lower than a lot lower than we'd originally put it on for, and lower than it we dropped to twice. But we're trying to look at it like, well, at least it's all relative. Like, hopefully we can obviously get a cheaper place as well. So,
Yeah.
but I saw Baz and go on. Sorry.
Did you? I didn't go to the rugby at Twickenham yesterday.
No, actually, I was invited, but and Simon was invited through me. But actually, Harriet had already asked me to come and help, like spend the day with her and the kids, because Sean was at the rugby. And yeah, I knew it wouldn't have gone down well had I cancelled to go to the rugby. So we didn't watch it. I saw Sean in the morning, and then we had the hunters over actually. So we just doing lots of, well, we hardly left the house really, just like playing with Finley and Flo and lots of games with the kids and stuff. And actually Finley had his first solid food yesterday.
Wow.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so he had baby rice, although I don't know if you remember it looks like porridge. But yeah, it was, Flo is much better now, like being slightly nicer to Auntie. And yeah, she was in good form. So yeah, it was a nice day. And then I know Sean had been like drinking all day, I think, and Baz was like, you should sleep in the attic tonight because you'll be so like, you know, snoring kind of thing.
Because he'd been to the rugby.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
What does that mean? Why would he sleep alone if he's been to the rugby? Is that
because he was
like
he was
having the Taunton cider?
Well, he was all day drinking. He was all day drinking, and then because they have the baby obviously in the room.
Yeah.
And then Harriet obviously has to get up a few times with the baby
Oh,
anyway.
I see, yeah.
She was like, I don't need to wake up the baby drunk / me, and then, you know, but yeah, I think Finley will go in his own room soon, but Finley's bedroom has 3 external walls, so it's really cold, so they're getting one of the windows replaced to make it like double glazed to make it warmer, and then I think they'll move him in there. So that'll be good, hopefully get a better sleep. But at the moment, yeah, I think he's waking up like twice a night, so it's quite tiring for Baz.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, she was quite tired yesterday actually. But yeah, it was nice to see them. Baz is obviously desperate for me to move to Isha, basically. She's always telling me, you know, stories of brothers and sisters she knows that live on the same road, and you should live in Isha.
Yeah.
You'd be a good babysitter.
She's always encouraging you to do what?
She wants us to move like to Isha or on the same road.
Yeah.
And we would love to live closer, but yeah, it's.
But she didn't offer you the spare room while you're having to go through this trauma then?
Well,
the moving out trauma.
No, they were really good, and Mum offered me to move back there, but the problem is, like, because I work from home and because we kind of want to be close to our gym is in Herne Hill, which we go to a lot, and all our friends around here.
Yeah.
So to keep going back to the flat to get stuff, move stuff, and also because they're paying up front, you know, we're sort of like, well, we might as well just.
Yeah. No, I see that.
It's actually really nice. I haven't lived with stairs. I haven't had stairs probably in about 10 years. So it's quite nice to have stairs and to have some space. Like, we obviously really like the flat is, you know, London flats are small. So it's, if anything, it's been nice to have a bit more space. And so that's been nice. But I still would rather just not be, you know, moving out own place, basically, you know. But,
well, those stairs will, the enthusiasm will wear off, I can tell you.
Yeah, that's true. But I feel like you get more exercise, you get more steps in. There's so many benefits. Yes.
That is true.
In such a small flat, like you know, some days I might just do 100 steps. It's like ridiculous how much exercise you get. Like, especially if you work from home and live in a flat, it's like hardly. I need to get out more, basically.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
Yeah.
Everything good with you, Guy?
Yeah, no, good. Just got back from Hunstanton. That's good. Did a lot of steps yesterday, running and then walking.
Oh,
But
did you do
today the weather's been really nice.
Oh, did you do a park run in the morning, then walk in the afternoon then? Or?
Yeah. So I did about 20,000 steps in the end, which was good
Wow.
for me, because during the week, obviously, I do next to nothing if I'm working and pottering around here.
That's so good. Did Carolyn do park run as well?
Yeah. No, we're both doing it.
Did you wear your new top?
No, it's too cold at the moment. I'm still in long sleeves, but I'm ready.
Yeah.
What about the hat?
Nice. I've taken the labels off, cut them off, so ready to go.
Oh, yeah. Have you been wearing a new hat, Dad? He was asking.
Yes. Yeah. Well, it's been cold, so it's been more essential.
Yeah. I can't
But
believe
once you get going, I mean, the thing about the running is that you don't actually need to wear too much stuff when you're running, because you heat up. It's especially the park run, you've got the sort of 5 or 10 minutes before where you're standing in the cold getting ready and you think this is freezing. But I'm still wearing a sort of little hat for running.
What is a park run then? Is that an organized thing, or it's just in the park?
Yeah, it's an organized thing where you have a barcode as well. So and they have marshals, and it's 5 kilometers.
Oh, it's a 5K, so you can't cheat.
You know, they have signs and stuff like that. So you do the 5, and at the end, after about an hour, you get your time sent to you, and you can check how other people have done, and
cool.
And so you can see, you know, how close you are to your personal best, and sort of a few little stats like that. So it's, you know, you're really racing against yourself. Unfortunately, I think my chance of getting a PB is sort of, I seem to be about 50 seconds out, and that's quite a lot to make up in 5 kilometers.
Yeah.
You need to go to different park runs where they're like mainly downhill or something.
Yeah, I don't think there is one that exists like that. I mean,
so
the one at Stanton's good because it's completely flat, because you're going up and back along the seafront. So it's a sort of, you know, it's concrete base, and there are no hills whatsoever. It's all on one level. So in theory, but it's, you know, it just gets windy sometimes.
So can you just roll up, Guy? You have to book in advance, or you can just show up?
Anyone can do it, and it's free.
That's cool.
I mean, obviously you're expected to volunteer. I've volunteered a few times, you know, instead of running. So I'm a marshal, you know, clapping people and saying, come on, keep going, go this way, mind the puddles.
And how long, how are your knees? I don't know how much longer I can do the
touch
running.
wood, my body's holding up. It's you know, 5 kilometers. It sort of doesn't get any easier as you get older.
Yeah.
Have you still got your running machine, or just the bike?
The running machine broke, so now over there I've got, which I had already, I've got a sort of cycling machine that also doubles as a cross trainer.
Oh yeah.
So if the weather's bad or it's dark, then I do it on there. I do sort of 5 kilometers of one, and then 5 kilometers of the other, and well, it tells you it's 5 kilometers. You know, whether it really is, I mean, who knows? I mean, it tells you what speed you're going, but you know, you can't really tell whether a machine like that is accurate.
Yeah, because Baz has got her Peloton, but I think they're like kind of regret it. They don't really use it, and I think would prefer the space now.
Yeah.
But
I mean, you've got to push yourself to do this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm doing about four days a week.
So good. How often do you go to?
Yeah, I'm on about 4, plus I do some weeks I do 4 running, and 1 I always try to get a swimming. I do the 60 length swimming.
Yeah, Hugh was good when he's over here. He ran in York as well.
But I'm not, you know, when I only do half an hour on the machine, which is about, it's 2 miles.
Wait, you've got a machine as well?
Yeah. When it goes down below about 35 degrees, I don't do the outside thing. It's just, you know, plus, So, you know, I have this thing where it's about half an hour to do 2 miles. And that's about my limit. I don't know if I got much more.
Thing is, I don't know whether you get it, but so many people have dogs these days as well, which is fine if they're on the lead, but some of them are not on the lead. They're a bit boisterous, and some are basically out of control. It makes you quite nervous.
Around here, we don't. You can't let them off. They have these pens. You know, you can only let them off in the park in an enclosed area.
Yeah, that'd be better here.
Plus, the route I go, no one goes there. I'm more likely to get run over than have a dog.
I tell you, there's some scary dogs around here. Like being in Brixton compared to Herne Hill is like, considering it's so close, it's actually.
There's been a couple of incidents, haven't there? The woman and a 4-year-old child killed by it was actually their pet dog.
I know, but it was a rescue dog. But yeah, around here there's quite a lot of like young guys with these like really muscly dogs, which is like.
I'm not sure whether you can ever trust a dog 100%, but then I'm not a big dog person. I'm more of a cat person.
I must say, the joys of dogs in an urban area to me is quite a mystery. You know, over here it's so, limited. You got to pick up the crap. Obviously, then you can't let it off the leash. You know, you got to take it up to the pen, and it just seems like a real one-way thing. You know, the dog gets nothing, and you get all the work, and I'm not sure who gets anything out of it. You know what I mean?
And it's like having a child if you got to take the dog out every morning and evening.
Yeah.
But when I came to New York to see Baz, when I came to see Hugh, I couldn't believe that so many people have dogs, even in like small apartments.
Yes.
There's a doggy daycare at the bottom, and they've got these giant dogs in a tiny flat. Like.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I mean, a lot of them have the small dog for that same reason, but it's still, to me, it just doesn't. I just don't understand the equation really, because it's, it's so limited for the dog.
Yeah.
You can't just run around and have fun.
Yeah.
And then it's so much work for you. Like even now, Brando would still like me to get a dog.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's recently started saying, well, Hugh, when you retire, Dad, do you think you'll get a dog? I can see a dog really big.
Yeah. Ethan's always said, why don't we get a dog?
And I'm saying, I don't think so.
I always remember how sad you were when we were going to having to get rid of our dog.
Yes, I remember. I can still remember. I can't remember much these days, but I can still.
Chris,
I still remember coming down to see you and coming back on the train at the end when I guess when I was leaving, Chris, I knew I'd never see that dog again. Is that what happened?
Yeah, I think so. Right.
Because you had to put it down.
Why, Chris? I didn't even know you guys had a dog. When was this?
When we were first married.
Yeah.
And he was at a police station, and Terry was working in the law courts right by the police station, and he was barking all day, and they were looking for a home.
Yeah.
And I went away on business for the day to Sheffield. Yeah. I came back, and Terry had made her decision. She brought the dog home, and it was she, as usual with everything in his life, Terry did all the hard work, and used to take him out, but we never got him under control. And when we moved to Misterton a year later, the neighbors complained bitterly about him. Terry still worked. We left it at home, and he was in and out and in the garden, and he was just over
exuberant,
yeah.
Oh wow, what kind of dog was he?
The golden retriever, right?
Yeah,
oh.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Gosh, yeah, so I came down I must have come down for the weekend or something, Chris.
You came for the weekend.
And I love dogs. I loved dogs when I was a kid, and I used to take everyone's dogs for a walk.
Did you?
And so that was great for me. But I remember being really upset when I left.
Yeah, you were. You made quite an impact, Thomas. You came down one weekend and watched Yeovil Town play football as well. Do you remember that?
Oh, really? No, I don't remember that bit at all.
With a sloping pitch.
I can remember. I think we saw an FA Cup match.
Yeah, you did.
But it wasn't a giant killing one.
Sorry?
It wasn't a giant killing one. I think maybe Yeovil lost, but
Yeovil are doing really badly now.
Are they?
Where are they now, Chris?
They're in Is it the Virama League or something?
Just outside the.
Oh, they've gone down from 4 even. Didn't know that.
Yeah, they're pretty far down. They're nearly at the bottom of that.
Are Brentford still doing well, Hugh?
Yes, they won 3-0 yesterday. They're quite a story, but I mean, Fulham are doing very well, remarkably too. It's like it's like a
doing
new
better than Chelsea.
Yeah.
Oh.
So no, Brentford are really showing what's what. I feel like at some point the manager's going to get some big offer and he'll move elsewhere, and who knows what will happen. Because he's what is he, Danish or something, and he's very tied to the players. He's got a whole bunch of Danish players.
He's definitely got an accent.
I saw, by the way, that Brentford had signed, obviously probably for publicity, Romeo Beckham or Cruz Beckham, one of them.
Oh yeah, but for the B team though, isn't he? I don't think he's in the A team.
Yeah. And it was definitely for like publicity, wasn't it? Press for like, yeah.
Yeah, being the child of a famous person must be like purgatory for me.
Yeah,
you could never get away from that shadow.
No.
Yeah, a lot to live up to.
But Newcastle, they could only draw. I saw it, but I can't remember the result. Did they draw?
Yeah, did they draw yesterday? Drew 1-1 with West Ham.
Oh, good old West Ham.
So good for West Ham, not so good for Newcastle.
I like old Moyes.
Yes, if Keith made it to the end of this video, you won't be happy, Keith, will you there?
Well, he has a lot to be happy about. I mean, this time last year, I don't think he would have imagined, would you, Keith, that they would be second or third or up in the top 4?
Is that where they are? Second or third? Wow.
At times they're second. And in fact, Man City have just lost. So
yeah, I think they're probably 4th now.
Oh yeah,
and they might have been up to second.
Manchester United won yesterday and went up in front of them.
Oh really?
They're 4.
So who watched the rugby yesterday? I'm guessing you did, Chris. Anyone else?
Yes, I did. I did.
I watched a lot of it.
The game, the Scotland-England game, was a cracker.
Yeah, we could have won. It could have gone either way.
As well, yeah.
But that
great tries by the Scots, though.
That guy, he apparently played for Worcester.
Is this Van der Mar?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Van der Mar. And he played for Worcester, one of those 2 teams that have gone bankrupt. And he joined Edinburgh, a side in Edinburgh, and that's why he qualified to play for Scotland or something. I don't quite know what the background of qualification is, but because he's a South African, obviously with a name like that.
Yeah.
Originally, the family obviously came from Holland. Van der Mar. It was a good game.
God, poor Simon. He just got home from golf just now, and we were meant to have a Tesco delivery come here.
Yeah.
And he's just quickly come up, grabbed the keys, literally just got home, got a call from Tesco, and basically accidentally he's got the food delivered to the other house, our flat.
Don't do that, Chris.
yeah, don't do that. So he's had to quickly go back and persuade the teams to make him stay.
So will it be there, or has he got to go to Tesco's to pick it up?
No, he's managed to persuade, I think, the driver to stay there, and like was like, I'll literally be 10 minutes, but
that's something it's like something I would do.
Yeah, we've done it before with like a few like just random shopping bits as well. Not ideal. But anyway.
All right, I got to move on. I got to.
I better go and put some wood on the fire.
Go and give one of my a lecture to one of my tenants.
Oh gosh, why? What's happened?
This idiot. I mean, they obviously like a bit of a toot there with the marijuana, and it's pretty much legal now. And they put tape around the fire alarm and went off on vacation for a month. And it's like,
How did you know? Did you go around and see, or how did you know?
Well, I went round there to fix a light. And I looked up and saw the thing. And
would that void your insurance, Hugh? Or
That's a good question. I don't know. I don't think it
You
could avoid,
You
but
could
people
use that
could
with the
die.
argument.
You know,
Yeah,
if it
you
doesn't
could
go
use
off,
that as an
people could
argument
die.
to be like, you know.
Yeah.
But I have a no smoking clause in the lease. But
Yeah,
you know,
that's terrible.
it's tough. You know, now it's legal over here to you know, it's like saying someone can't drink in their apartment now, basically. And
Control it then, you don't.
fun.
You can't control that, can you?
Yes. I mean, I could
that
say, look, no smoking, it's in the lease, but you know, they're pretty good tenants otherwise, and you know, it is a little
marijuana they're taking.
Yeah, I think so. I got the packet upstairs.
God, oh, so you actually found like a bag with marijuana in?
Well, it wasn't in the room. It was. I mean, in fairness to them, he obviously goes outside for a smoke, or he smokes by the window and chucks the bud out the window. So when I walk by the window, I see all the butts on the floor.
Right.
But I'd known that for months, but and I haven't moved on it because, you know, it's difficult. But the fire alarm thing, I mean, people could die. You know, if there's a fire and it doesn't go off, then.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, exactly. Like.
So anyway, you know, I went round Thursday and they weren't there. I'd rather do it in person than on the phone because you know, it has more impact.
Yeah, exactly. Get threatening with the that it breaches the insurance.
Yeah. Anyway,
yeah.
It's really,
Chris,
really nice to talk to you.
Yeah.
Talk to you.
So look on the bright side, Chris. At least the Russian wasn't smoking. Smoking the marijuana.
No, that's right. I mean, it sort of made a big, as you can tell, it's made a big impact on my life as it is. But it's back to normal now, and sort of very, very, very depressed about Terry, I'm afraid.
Yeah. Well, best of luck. You know, if it's
okay, we'll speak to
anything
you
we can do, just
let
us know.
I'll give you a call, Chris, in a few days.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I was gonna ask you to come down Tuesday, but there's no point now if you can't have visitors. I was definitely I've got somebody taking me tomorrow, and Fitzvana was coming with us. And I was going to ask you for Tuesday, but anyway, that's fallen through now.
All right. Well, maybe I should ring you Tuesday or Wednesday and see if there's a different change and a new day.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and Dad, keep me posted because I said I'd come so I could come see you as well, Chris.
Yeah, we'll do.
Okay then.
All right. Great talking, Chris, and
good to talk.
Best of luck and keep your chipper up.
To Keith. Bye.
Oh yeah.
Bye, Keith.
Yeah, talk to you, Keith. Yeah.
Bye.